Today I wish to explain to those monitoring this world that we recently discovered, and I'm sure not by accident. To me it seems as though you were revealing yourselves to the inquisitive minds here on this world. I wish to clarify a belief that may be lost in translation between our species by using an explanation that you may associate easier to what you know. This world is a world full of sentient life forms who mostly believe that it was created by a cosmic energy anomaly that had used various methods and tools, such as the wreckage and leftover technology that I have noticed you have been removing since 2018, just prior to the Area 51 event in September of that year. I had noticed the energy and atmospheric entry signs of your ship's approach and the extraction of the material far north of the base. The strange storm that formed in Roswell out of nowhere that was electrically charged, and had out of place weather patterns such as hail in the middle of the desert. The basic discussion topic of the night is similar to these occurrences. They are geological weather patterns that occur before a planet naturally dies. To be specific, the scenario I am going to go over that happens when a planet's core nuclear photon particle fusion process depletes and the outer mantle collapses in on the core of the planet due to the lack of energy propulsion to expel the debris, causing an antimatter chain reaction as a result that obliterates the planet into finite dust particles. The topic of who we call the creator, this energy variance, is not the only one like it, and there are basically two types. There are the peaceful ones that seem innocent like children, and there are the deceitful ones who convince others that they inhabit to carry out activities for them and are the opposition to the peaceful ones. We are not sure exactly what or where they come from, but the one who may refer to himself as their father is the one many of us refer to as God or the architect of the universe. We each hold our own belief in him as we have come to understand him. Although many of us are beginning to be convinced that he does not exist and use a system of flawed mathematical methods that they don't even fully comprehend to try and explain how something can't possibly exist. Which isn't hard because they don't believe he exists in the first place. I myself am different. I believe he exists because I have seen and carried on a conversation with him that in all ways should not have been possible, and survived an injury that I should not have survived, a few times at that, not just once. So far I have survived poisoning which led to a heart attack, smashing into a windshield in a car accident at 40 miles per hour with no safety belt on, a stroke, asphyxiation on my own lung fluid due to a respiratory issue, the vein in my temporal lobe rupturing and still slightly is hemorrhaging to this day, an infection in my spinal column that drained down my back and severely damaged my upper lung and lymph node before settling in my upper left thigh and draining from the finally. All these things led to a near death, medically declared deceased, for various amounts of time for each one I listed, and every time I saw something that cannot be explained unless you have an open mind to the possibilities in such a thing. Science on this world constantly is used to try and disprove the existence in religion, but what people fail to realize is that science as it stands now to us is flawed. They do not comprehend the full concept of it. They barely grasp the concepts of the universe, and their theories and mathematical equations are constantly disproving themselves, making their statistical data unreliable. Yet they still argue the wisdom passed down by their ancestors and seek to replace the experience of those before us with their logical miscalculations on topics they don't even fully understand. But enough of trying to clarify ourselves. During the death of a planet, which I have witnessed before in both my communications with the spirits, specifically the alien consciousness Rhea, that had arrived on a meteor she had somehow become infused with when her homeworld blew up. In a strange set of occurrences that even she isn't entirely sure of, her conscious mind and life energy had become fused into the rock around her when her world was destroyed. She thinks the cosmic radiation of space during what she estimates to have been about 150,000 years of floating through space She claims to have landed here on this world when it was still an asteroid, which coincides with the terraformers' data, as there was an unknown energy anomaly life force signature detected by the ship's sensors while the planet was still in its magma stage before any surface or anything else had even formed. From the projected memories of her world's death, I have had a glimpse of what occurs when a world dies, so let me walk you through one of the least tasteful topics of social discussion. First to occur will be the amphibious and aerial species will drop dead. The life within the oceans will die out suddenly because of the rising magma from the core. The aerial species will die because of the destabilizing atmospheric levels as the layers of barometric fields become unraveled and begin to separate, causing many issues to occur as a result. The most visible will be the severe electromagnetic storms that will begin to form all over the planet almost at the same time. This will be accompanied by supercell storms that house these electromagnetic events. The next situation will be the surface's destabilization, as the continental shelves will separate and begin to be drawn in towards the core as the magma from the core travels towards the surface. This will begin by a series of barometric pressure changes that will be noticed across the world. Then will follow the loss of atmospheric elements that everyone breathes. First it shall be a tightness of breath, followed by what feels like a weight on your lungs. Then as the surface completely crumbles and the magma from the core reaches the surface and consumes it, there will be a wall of fire, like a tsunami but of pure flames. Most will not live to see that wall reach them, as the ground will give way from beneath them first, or a building will fall on them, but either way death will be fairly quick and painless, as the screams of the people will only last for about a quarter of a second, before they go silent. Then the planet will begin to glow an orange-like red before everything is flung in every direction, as the core of the planet's photon particles violently react to the particles of open space and an antimatter explosion occurs. And that is the end of that usually. There have been situations where there was not enough photon energy left in the core and the explosion did not destroy the planet completely, resulting in planetoids to form or husks of leftover planetary bodies that become rogue planets usually.
Allahu Akbar!
Tell me exactly what am I supposed to do now that I have allowed you to beat me? Do you think that we could play another game? Maybe I could win this time.